Ooh, is that an accent I detect?
Yeah, Australian. Yep.
Oh, Australia.
He employs foreigners.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Progressive.
we have a character that we call the Australian Minister of Consent. He's like a very woke. He's like, listen. He's like, when you're going after a Sheila, you just can't grab the Sheila. You have to walk up behind her. You have to say, listen, Sheila, I really would fancy a go at your breasts and vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like Andy's entire act when we were in Australia was pretty rape heavy, but that's
coercive control.
Yes, sir.
They have a lot of PSA commercials about sexual assault
In Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in Australian. Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
In the native Australian, that must be very
desperately
interesting.
Hold on to what rights they have.
Wait, are we going now? Are we live?
We're going.
Oh, dude.
Cool.
So I don't want to start with a brag. You have an Australian producer, and that's pretty nice. Our producer converted to Islam for the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
For the cast.
For the cast.
show, yeah.
No, that's debated.
Well,
And is that Mohammed on your lap?
This.
the dog. Oh no, that would make Muhammad so angry. He'd be like, no, please, no. You're not allowed to eat dogs in Islam.
No.
Yeah,
that's against the rules.
it's verboten. Yeah, completely. See?
Now he converted to Islam so that the cast would be halal, and we're very appreciative of that. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much.
God protects you.
Is this your inaugural podcast?
Yeah.
Have you done a few?
This is episode 1. This is the War is Gay podcast.
The Phantom Menace. Yeah.
Yes.
The War is Gay. The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so we're doing this as a swap cast, so you will put it out as War is Gay podcast,
Yeah.
and this will be the Doug Stanhope podcast featuring the War is Gay podcast.
Also known as Two Sheilas.
3 if you count the dog.
Yeah, it's the War is Gay. I mean, think about me and Pat have been to many wars, and the thing they all have in common is it was pretty gay.
Pretty gay, yeah.
They suck, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of impossible to get pussy.
And afterwards, and the not being able to get pussy thing sticks with you too. Like
Truly.
afterwards, yeah.
That stink of despair stays in your skin.
Yes, it's not. They think it's hot for like 2 seconds, and then they're like,
Yeah.
ugh.
All right, so you're both one current and one former war correspondent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but
Who's who?
heterosexual
Who's
men.
who? And one of you own a comedy club.
Yeah, I own this
but-
comedy club. We're in it. We're in Bushwick Comedy Club in Brooklyn, New York.
And how long has that been going?
So we opened in September of last year. And tonight's looking like a
Mr.
sellout,
Scuds?
baby.
Or what's the name of the club?
Bushwick Comedy Club.
Okay, I was thinking you might have a war title to it, like Missiles Last.
Yes.
Whatever.
No, not in Bushwick.
The Katusha Lounge.
Dude, we're in Bushwick. I'll be like, I served in the United States Marine Corps, boo. And then I'll be like, my dad served in the PLO. Yeah. They love it. Now, Doug, we discussed different aspects of war on this. We have some questions. You're a wartime comedian. You've been to Ukraine. Can we ask Doug, when you were in Ukraine, did you shit?
Yeah.
Did I shit? Yeah, I didn't have to shit anywhere weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But our Australian, because to get there, we had to take, we flew into Warsaw in Poland, and then we had a driver take us to Lviv in Ukraine. Got through the border. I don't know how we got through without them checking anything. They just waved us through in a hurry. I think the driver was connected because I got his name from the New York Times reporter who started all this. She gave us, hey, if you want to use this guy. And he switched us off to another guy who didn't speak any English. And turned out he was some kind of torturer for the Ukrainian military police or something.
Oh, shit.
No nonsense Uber driver.
Now, we were going to get into shitting.
But then on the way back, when we were leaving, whatever, a week or 10 days later, was a 15-hour train ride with it ain't Amtrak. There's no fucking dining car. They one time came by and gave us a bottle of water.
Jesus.
But our Australian here, Alex, did not shit or piss for the entire 15-hour ride.
Whoa, all right.
You hear that, Alex?
Well,
15 hours.
There is a smell. There's a smell in those trains. There
was the shitter when the train stopped at a station. They blocked the bathroom, so you couldn't go into the bathroom because if you shit, it would get dropped right out in front of the train station.
Oh, that rules.
Just right on the tracks.
So just open up.
Yes.
you just
Dave Matthews Band.
when you're a kid and you use the toilet on like a train or an aircraft, like you're old enough to like understand that like it can't just be that they just dump this out, right? Like there has to be, it goes into some tank and then they can't just like dump this onto the fucking tracks, and then like you get older and you realize it is actually
that's how the world works.
Yep.
I would have liked to watch that science movie in high school or middle school. Well, when the poop goes and you hear the suction sound, what actually happens to it? Mm-hmm. I stopped thinking about it as soon as I hear that suction sound. But where does that?
If I really thought that when you took a shit on a plane, it would fall into someone's neighborhood randomly, I would shit every time I flew.
Yeah,
I would take psyllium husk. I would take laxatives. I'd eat bran muffins.
I'd fly over Florida and Texas routinely.
I would save my shit for the flight.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
So let's go over what wars have you been in, and what are the most horrible places you had to take a shit?
Oh, see, yeah,
Ooh.
dude, this is why we bring up shitting, because we think like there's a theory, if you can shit well,
You're a good soldier.
you're a good soldier in wars. I've taken horrific shits. The worst, so wars I've been to, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon, it's probably some I'm forgetting, Ukraine,
Oh yeah.
maybe some I'm forgetting. The worst shit I ever took, Syria. Yeah.
Where was it?
So this is in rebel Syria, and why it was the worst shit. So first of all, it's a squatty
Hang on,
thing.
let's back up. You said you were in the Marine Corps. So how many of these wars were you a soldier, and how many were you a correspondent?
Oh, none.
Oh yeah, good question. Yeah, correspondent for all, which is why, and that's actually that's a blessing, because we talk a lot about this, because it's like we both for sure have some kind of PTSD, but like we're so glad that we never shot a dude. Like at the end of it, like I'm, tons of stuff scares me, and I have stuff that haunts me, but it's like I never shot a dude in the dick. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I never had to like contend with that.
Did you guys know that? Actually, in the Marines, did you guys know that we're trained to shoot people in the penis? Do you guys know about this?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was actually that's the missing verse in the Marine Corps hymn. The whole Tripoli and then shooting off a guy's dick.
This is a real thing. People don't.
Is that too? If you don't kill them, then they're not going to fuck and make more soldiers down the road.
It's so the thing is, the whole thing comes from like it's hard to shoot someone in the head because your head is like always moving, but your hips not so much. They're pretty stable. Yeah. So when they're like 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, no sir, 2 in the chest,
all in the chest,
1 in the penis.
Is that to send a message, or
no?
Just wound them in a way that kills their will to fight?
No, well, this is kind of gory, but it destroys your pelvic girdle, and then without that, you have like no locomotion, so you can't. You can't.
There's some euphemisms here.
It comes from like when
All right,
like
so
fighters
tell us about your dump
taking...
in Syria. Let's get to the good stuff. Tell us about the Syrian dump.
It was horrific because first of all, it's a squatty toilet and there's no toilet paper, so you have to figure out how to wipe, and it's embarrassing. There's just a little spout with water, and they just show it to you, and they're like, "Do what you will in there." Why? It was my first shit of the day, and then jets immediately overhead.
Ours or theirs? Theirs.
Syrian government jets.
Enemy jets. Okay, yeah.
Even American jets. I don't know.
No, but I'm saying if you're taking a shit and there's jets flying over you, I think whether or not they're friendly or enemy.
Long story short, I was taking a little squatty shit, and then the jets came and they altered the angle of my shit, and I ruined my fixer's bathroom a little bit. I got it mostly on the floor, then the hole.
Wait, so you mean you were ducking, so your ass...
I was already squatting. I was down there, and and then I hear that, so I did like a little bit of a, and then unfortunately, the hole is about this big. All the shit went kind of that way.
Okay, so it was a squatter's hole. It wasn't an actual bowl.
No, oh dude.
It's target practice.
It's target practice.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's why, I take psyllium husk every day to make big, ropey, no wipers as often as I can.
Bam.
I don't know what the Syrian diet is like, or if you're living on MREs or.
No, the Syrian diet. So I was with the rebels. They were eating complete dog shit. It was like spam.
literally they're just following dogs around.
No, it's the worst food on earth. I wish
It was horrible for me eating there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, he's vegan, by the way. So
Yeah,
when he goes to wars, he loses 15 pounds.
Yeah, you go into one of those bombed out cafes and say, "Do you have any vegan options?"
I've absolutely done that. Yeah.
Shamelessly.
Well, I would just assume it's hard to find meat.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of pita bread.
It is sometimes. I was just in Syria like 2 months ago, and it's a small area near the border with Turkey, like an area that was being targeted a lot at the time. And going around town, I'd go into like a restaurant that I'd never been in before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy that like doesn't eat anything." I was like, "Yeah, cool."
Do you guys want to go on a hangover like weekend to Gaza?
Yes, actually, I've been trying
Four of
to
us?
go to Gaza.
Gaza, dude, I went to Gaza years ago, and Hamas was rude to me. They looked on my Facebook.
How dare they?
I worked in Israel for Reuters for a minute, shout out Reuters, and they took me to Gaza for the day, and Hamas, these guys are fucking idiots. The way they do like their background checks is literally they just look on your Facebook, and they just scan it and they saw pictures of me like in the Marines, and then they saw pictures of me with white women, and they didn't want to let me in. And
That combination
Oh wow.
is, yeah.
Yeah, that's because I know Kristen Becker is a comic. I don't know if you know Kristen Becker, but
Sure.
yeah, that was one thing she didn't count on is that they'd look at her Facebook. She was just going up to Canada to do an open mic because she lived in Buffalo, and they said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just visiting." "Really? Here it says on your Facebook that you're performing here, here, and here." She's like, "Oh, I didn't think about Facebook."
The Islamic State of Canada strikes again.
Canadian Hamas is really hardcore like that.
But hold on, Doug. So you mentioned Lviv was kind of the city you started. Pat coincidentally was sexually humiliated in Lviv by the police.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Do you want to share this
On the
tale?
sidewalk there.
Oh yeah. This is a
That was Warsaw.
this is a great
No,
story.
that was Kiev.
Oh, Kiev.
Lviv is just where we switched cars, switched
okay.
drivers. We didn't spend time, but tell us about your
Yes.
sexual humiliation, and hopefully there's some shit
No,
involved. 'Cause if you can just root any podcast in good shitting, diarrhea, shit your pants stories, then the rest just flows magically.
It flows.
Doug, you can't see what I've written here, but the first thing I wrote was shit, and then the second thing was pussy, and so it has kind
It's
of.
one of Doug's
Pat,
bits
tell the
right
tale of
now.
your sexual humiliation.
Okay. So it was like the first 6 weeks of the war, and one of my best friends is Ukrainian, and I went to go meet him in Ukraine right after Ukraine City was liberated, and then I immediately went with like a humanitarian convoy to Kharkiv, and to evacuate a patient. We raised some money to fund the convoy, and then we got back to, it was rather uneventful, and then we got back to Lviv, and we kind of like relaxed because it's a long road, so we were awake for like days, just exhausted, and go to sleep, and then my roommate wakes me up, and he's like, "Yo, we're being bombed. Let's go check it out," because like the train station or an area near the train station had been bombed. So we drive out there, we're filming, and then and my roommate's filming from one angle, and he goes, "Hey, go get closer and film a little bit, because it'll be good footage, right?" And I'm like, "I don't know, like they don't like you filming war damage." And he's like, "It's no big deal. There's a bunch of people filming. They'll leave you alone, right?" And then I'm filming, and then there's a bunch of other people kind of filming, and then for whatever reason, there's these like lady cops that like just see me and like know I'm a foreigner and just single me out and like walk up to me and just like grab me, and they're like, "Oh, why are you filming?" And I'm like, because it's interesting, like I'm filming, I knew the rules about war damage, but I just assumed because other people were filming that it was nothing. So, and they're like, "No, we have to take you down to the police station." So they took me down to the police station. I'm like, "Fuck," and they have me like waiting in this police station, and they like, "Can you unlock your phone?" And like I was expecting that. I don't travel usually with like stuff that's like risky or compromising, but
Like your regular phone.
well, yeah. But I had been like maybe like sexting a little bit with somebody that I knew at the time, and like so there were photos of that nature on my phone, and
So she goofed on your dick pic?
So hang on. So at some point, I'm like sitting here, and I'm sitting in the police station. I'm like really bummed. I'm like, are they gonna like deport me for this shit? Like what? You know? And then I look over, and there's these two like very beautiful Ukrainian policewomen in like uniform, and like they're looking through my phone, right, and like giggling to each other, right? And I could tell that they were like, being like, they weren't like wow about my hog, but they were like, that'll do, pig. Like they were just like having a good time. Like it was very funny. I was like,
I used to put I didn't send pictures out, but to amuse my wife, I would put a G.I. Joe helmet on my penis, among other like Western themed, put the holster on it or whatever. But have you ever sent a dick picture with like a bomb explosion in the background?
That would be very hard to time, I think. Pre-exploded.
You're not that hardened of a war correspondent to be able to do that immediately then.
Dude.
But the moral of the story is that they were so impressed that they just released me.
They forgave him. They saw that he had.
Sorry.
They were like, "There's no way God would give a bad man such a hog."
Yeah.
They were like, "His heart must be pure." And
it's like that. It's like that ancient Ukrainian folk myth. And they weigh your heart and your dong, and it determines if you can go into heaven.
Did they forward it to themselves?
I
hope.
100%.
I hope that would be so cool. Oh my god.
Can you imagine? I would masturbate endlessly to Ukrainian women masturbating to an image of my dong.
But I'll never know. But we can only hope. Yeah. So it turned into it was like a very humiliating experience in the best way.
Was your face and your dick in the same picture?
No.
So they might have just thought that you're take pictures of guys' dick.
No, because it was unambiguously. It was.
If you take a picture of your dick and your face is in it, that's called a Brett Favre.
Honestly, it's such a smart idea. I wish I would have shown Hamas my penis. Because
you don't do that. No. When I go through border checkpoints, I take photos of shit.
Oh yes.
No. I'm serious. I like clear my phone and everything. And then I take pictures of dumps, so that if somebody goes through my phone, like if Homeland Security or whatever goes through my phone, it's just pictures of poop.
Your dumps or other people's dumps?
My own. Come on.
I mean, dude, his
I'm
are
not an animal, like.
His are insane though. This kid eats only plants, so it'll just be like perfect snakes.
And there was the question mark incident too.
Yeah.
Have you ever shit numbers?
No, but a question mark.
If I could just shit a little bit more, I might have the Powerball numbers. I'll get a 6 and a 3 and a 23.
He actually said this to me the other morning. He goes, "Oh, the Powerball numbers. It's not a 53. It's not even close. I shit a 53 yesterday."
That's the rejected Back to the Future script.
Dude, but this is all right. I mean, these are practical tips actually for like if you're going into a war zone where you have like a hostile power. Take photos of your shit and force your enemies to see like your power. Yes. Next time I go to Israel, first of all, if you go to Israel, they go through your entire shit. So if you front load your phone with pictures of your impressive penis and your impressive dumps, they'll be intimidated and they'll say no further questions, sir, please.
After 9/11, when airport security was so brutal, I would always travel with my carry-on just full of the most fucking random sex toys, double dongers, rubber vaginas, just like, no, you're going to pick through all of that. Let's make sure we're safe. I want you to go through all of it. Smear them with lube and just have a burner bag full of dildos. And I wanted to get...
You don't want them to get the main bag. You don't want them to get the football, of dildos.
Yeah, I wanted to find like gay porn with TSA agents, like dressed as TSA agents and line the inside of the suitcase so when they open it up, it's just two TSA guys butt fucking. I could not find TSA gay porn.
Checkmate. TSA.
I think I would be a very innovative director of gay porn because I'm not gay, but I think that that means that I would be able to add an artistry to it that others would not. But they would all be some kind of like disaster situation. So it's like you're on an airplane and it's crashing and it's like fuck, man, like the rudders are gone. We're not going to be able to come in for a clean
I
landing.
can hear your producer saying, people don't care about that. We just want to see butt fucking.
Well, hang on. I'm getting to that.
He is the producer.
Yeah, but like the rudders are out. We're not going to be able to come in for a safe landing. Guys, we're going to have to butt fuck our way out of this one.
Truly, yeah.
Like it just, and it's all essentially the same thing. It's like you're in space and it springs a
That's
leak.
basically what went on at the hotels when they were training for 9/11. Saudis were.
Very possible. I'll say.
Yeah, I heard that the buggery over there in the Middle East is far more rampant than you would expect from a Muslim world.
Dude, the buggery is unreal.
You didn't read the UN report on rampant buggery?
First of all, on our podcast, we call it bumming.
Yeah.
That's our term for it.
Bumming?
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Well,
we have to have a
First of all,
disclaimer.
this is your first podcast, and you haven't said bumming once. So
Well,
I know.
listen, we have a disclaimer though. Hold your thought. What's your thought?
Well, no, I was going to talk about the rampant bumming.
Please.
So when I worked in Afghanistan, this is a gross fucking story.
Yeah, the dancing boys.
Dude, you have no fucking idea. The bumming capital of the world is Kabul, Afghanistan. So some lady lived. When I worked in Afghanistan, I just lived in a house out in town. So, and this is kind of fucked up, but we had all these like fruit vendors around our house, and we were like, the Taliban has to kill them first to get to us. And that was like I'll talk about human shields, baby. We just had
You had like a nice wall of fruit vendors.
We had a nice wall of fruit vendors we were very nice to because the Taliban would have to kill them first.
what was your rent?
Free. I paid no rent.
Oh, yeah, because you pay in salat.
No.
Prayer.
So you were living with folks?
Yeah. Well, I was working for a news agency, so I don't know what the rent was. Somebody was paying rent.
Okay, sorry.
And it was in a house where it's like different. It was war reporters in the house, and then it was like NGO workers, like non-governmental agency workers, who were just people. Like, they're kind of like charity workers, but it'll be for all kinds of wild shit that their governments pay for. We had a lady who lived with us who was like a sexual health counselor in Afghanistan, and she would have couples come in all the time, and they're like, my wife won't get pregnant no matter how much sex we have. Is there something wrong? And 9 times out of 10, it's because he was fucking her in the ass. No fucking idea. Because they were so used to bumming one another that it's like their wife is like their first girl, and they're just like, I guess I'll just put it in her ass.
Yeah.
And then it's like, am I infertile? Rampant bumming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about the economic disparity in people, but just the intellectual disparities. That's a whole different
Brutal.
class system.
Dude, it was also
But I guess there's
impossible.
probably people just that dumb in here that we just don't meet. Because they're
We meet them.
often.
We meet them. They just don't have the power to go around bumming everything.
Yeah. Well, you got to go high level to get any serious bumming done around here. You got to join a church.
Yes.
You got to invest your time and energy into coaching Little League.
What's what's the most fucked up thing you've seen that you laughed at?
Oh, dude, this shook me to my core. I saw a man take a shit standing up. Oh, talking about shitting? Worst thing I've ever seen.
I think he meant in war.
Worst thing I've ever seen. He was in Afghanistan. It was a man. People always ask me. This is why, like, I'm bad. Like, girls will ask me this on dates, and I'll be like, "This man." I was like driving. I was in a cab actually, and I looked out and I saw this like homeless dude like shambling about, and then like at some point he put like his shirt over his head and parted the rags, still standing, and took a
Like
full
Bert Kreischer?
standing shit in the street, and he just put his shirt over his head for privacy. To this day, listen, I've been in ISIS execution chambers. I've seen blood just a fucking inches deep. Still, just a man putting his shirt over his head to take a standing shit.
First of all, in Afghanistan at war, how could you point someone out as homeless? Everyone looked homeless in the footage I saw.
How do you know he wasn't the king?
It may have been the mayor, honestly.
Here it could be the man.
I will say this. The kid produced a tremendous snake. I saw it from the car.
Okay, our producer is asking us to move on from shit.
Okay. All right. Doug. Oh wait, sorry. Let me move on. All right, Doug. When you were in Ukraine, did you get any PUSSY?
No, I don't fuck.
Good man.
Good, yeah.
Good man.
That was a trick question. If you'd answer
Yeah.
differently.
It's
We would have.
I guess we met some ladies, but at the open mics we went. That's why we went over there, was to check out the comedy scene, and it was fantastic. But yeah. I don't even see that look from women that you could possibly fuck them.
Yeah, we're about Gene Hackman age.
Yeah.
We're,
Genitally.
We need a caregiver, not a woman to love us. We need someone to wipe us.
That's the same. It's the same.
I'll be very honest. If you
I'm
guys,
looking for a wipe partner.
if you guys said you had gotten pussy, I would have lost respect for you. Honestly, that's the best answer.
So tell us your hookup stories in war zones.
None. That's
It's
why.
never worked.
Never. Yeah. That's not why we go though. So there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of male war reporters that think that it has this like swashbuckling vibe that will like attract women or like make you generally charismatic.
I would assume that it would be other journalists, a female journalist, where you go, hey, we're in this together, and just kind of like chemistry on the set of a movie.
Friendship.
Yeah.
For friendship, that's 100% true.
No. Let me tell
I
you.
did run behind a Ukrainian soldier and simulated butt fucking.
That was the biggest laugh we got in the entire tour, was that his friends laughing at him being tackled and humped. And these were the Azovs. These were the badass.
Oh wait, are they
I
anti-bombing or pro-bombing?
I didn't know what would happen, but I knew it would be funny. And I was hoping it would end the way it did, with me not getting shot in the face.
Yeah, when you only have your verbal skills, as your only, like, all right, we're funny. That's all we have going for us.
Yep.
And if there's a language barrier, that's gone until you get down to just bare bones. Everyone laughs at a man humping another man or shitting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why.
This is true, but to your point, so other correspondents hooking up with other correspondents, it happened all the time to everyone but me.
And me.
In Afghanistan, there were like 6 hot women in the whole country, 6 hot Western women, and we'd have like, there would be like parties, like you could go get drunk at people's houses, but you have 6 women you can hit on total in the entire country, and if you strike out with all of them, it's time to join the Taliban. It's like the worst. I had a thing for this Australian.
Then you fuck the guy that's shitting in the street with his fucking sweater over his head.
I would do the same, but I'm just jacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think you could at least pull a Louis and go, all right, I know everyone hits on you. Will you just watch me jack off?
Damn, truly I should have.
Like, if you had a foot fetish, I always thought that would be the greatest fetish to have. Be a foot fetish. Because a chick could probably it's just my feet. Go ahead, whatever.
But in a war zone, you don't even need the anything more than the foot.
Oh God.
Dismembered foot.
Yeah. Dismembered
Are you
foot.
fucking that foot? Well, Andy, you saw the video, the Ukraine video. Mm-hmm. Andy, they're taking us through some bombed out train station, just showing us the destruction. And Andy found a pair of shoes. So he just picked up a shoe and he had to piss. So he pissed in the shoe of some fucking probably.
I didn't realize it was a memorial.
Oh my God.
I just had to pee and I found those shoes and the soldiers were laughing and I go, I thought it was because I was just peeing in a shoe, but it was like, a sign of disrespect to a dead man, maybe.
Where was this? Which city?
I can't say.
Oh,
it was
somewhere in Donbass.
Donbass.
He keeps calling it Donbass.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the drive from wherever we'd fired the artillery to on our way to Kharkiv.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So what was that like, firing your mom's ashes out of a cannon?
Yeah, I had no idea that I would be actually firing the thing. I'm a coward. I have a Like, I have an irrational fear of balloons being inflated because they're going to pop. And it's kind of like when someone puts an elastic band in your face like this, like, you know, it's like,
Let me flip your ear.
So I was like, when I knew they were loading the fucking thing, I was running like hiding and cowering. They no, come put your mother's ashes in there. And I go over, I forget I have a lit cigarette. They have the fucking thing open. I'm filling the fucking artillery shell with ashes. And then I run like I don't want to hear the explosion. And they go, no, you pull the lever. And it was just squinting. You can still see the blinding flash of orange. And then you laugh like a little girl.
Yes, honestly, dude, you kind of get giddy, I think, in like combat situations. It's weird.
It is weird.
I got to fire one after him, and I did like the Three Stooges. Woo, woo, woo.
Literally.
And they didn't tell me where to. They told Doug to move forward, but I misfired a couple times, and then the third one surprised everybody that I finally manned up enough to pull it back. And then it blew off, and then I ran backward going, whoop, 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 just giddy, and then almost got hit by the shell kicking out of the back of it.
Did you guys have ear protection?
What was your first conflict that you felt was very dangerous?
Childhood for him.
Oh, yeah.
I almost said, did your parents fight a lot, and that just got you interested in conflict?
Dude,
yeah, what's your backgrounds?
Yeah.
French?
Yeah.
Lebanese. My first conflict was in Lebanon. I was like a kid during the Israeli invasion in 2006 or some shit. And can I say this is a fucked up but true. I used to go to Lebanon for like 2 months every summer, and it was the most boring shit in the world. So when the Israelis invaded, I was like, finally.
Same. I hate the mother country when I go home.
I was like, finally, I can go the fuck home. I very nearly greeted the IDF as liberators.
No, you didn't. Shut up. No,
I was so happy when the IDF. This is
got
true.
to leave?
Yes.
Oh man, if I was in France and it got invaded, I would have been so happy too. Holy.
Yeah,
fuck.
France sucks.
Yeah. Oh man.
Both our parents are immigrants. His French, mine Lebanese. So we were tortured as kids by having to go to the motherland for like months every summer.
Yeah, America rules.
America is the best country on earth.
People that aren't
absolutely
that don't have immigrant parents don't understand this because it's like what's good about America is that we don't have a base culture, right? So it's like my French grandfather believed that if you turn the lights off in succession too quickly, that it will damage the electronics in the house, right? Because he didn't understand stuff. He was like an old world guy, right? And my mom still kind of believes it because it's all one culture, one superstition, you know? But it's like if you come to America and you're in someone's house and they flick on the lights quickly and you're like, don't do that. It's gonna fuck up the electronics in the house. People will be like, yeah, no. Like, yeah, that's superstition. That's like bullshit. You know?
All right, but as a gig, what was your first like paid war correspondent gig?
My first paid Syria.
Same, yeah.
Do you do this shit on spec? I have no idea.
You do it for free.
What you do.
You do it for free.
You do it for free. You literally you go out there, you pay your own way, get no puss, shit cruelly and uncomfortably, and then you hopefully will sell whatever footage you get or whatever.
And you have to believe in it. You really do have to believe in it to do it. Like, it's not a...
Well, because the thing is, all these news organizations, the Washington Post, New York Times, whatever... Cowards. Complete cowards. And so they would not send people to Syria because they kept getting... Killed and kidnapped. So then if you just win and you're in... So if you tell them, hey, I'm going to Syria, can I write for you? They'll say no. But if you're already there, they'll be like...
That happened to me. I got rejected by a certain news organization because I sent the pitch before.
Yeah. If you pitch them before you go, they'll say no. If you're already in and they can't get their pussy ass reporters in there, they'll buy. So you you're prospecting.
So what was your first where you go? I can make a buck off of this one. Lebanon.
Lebanon, no. I was a kid. I was like 14. The cool thing about Lebanon is during an airstrike, my cousin cried. Okay, and I did not. And I've held that over him for years. I was like, you puss. But I made no money in Lebanon and got no pussy either.
I guess my first like scary...
You got shot at in Lebanon?
Yeah, a lot.
A man, yeah. Somebody shot at Pat in Lebanon.
Yeah, but it was like a love tap, you know? It was like a cute one. Well, no, one bad one and then one where the guy was just like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, somebody shot
Give us details. Come on, where's the meat?
Okay,
Is it
sorry.
close up? Can you see the guy?
So there was I was working for a media organization. Near our office that day, there was a car bomb that killed Wissam Hassan, the defense minister, intelligence minister. And it was Syrian regime that did it. And like a bunch of civilians were killed and it was nuts. So there was a bunch of sectarian rioting, yada yada. And so I went out with one of my friends, a Lebanese guy, and he's a little bold. And he took a photo of a fighter at a checkpoint. And the guy was like, just shot at our feet afterwards. So that was one. And then they were just like cursing back at each other. Oh, and also there were soldiers. There were Lebanese army soldiers standing next
Doing nothing. Doing nothing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's like, the bullet literally just like ricocheted near our feet. And then we were like, hey, it's like I'm walking here.
Whoa,
you know?
this fucking guy.
This guy. Like, yeah.
I'm jacking off.
That's not the first time I was shot at. The first time I thought I was going to get shot at was by Israelis in the West Bank. Yeah, but
was it real bullets or that gay ass like rubber bullet?
They were firing tear gas, and then I'm sure they had rubber bullets. And then I was trying to film them, and then they pulled out. And the footage, you see the guy like raises.
Yeah, but is it live rounds or is it the gay?
I couldn't tell from distance. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
You'd think they'd have better hidden camera shit out there where you don't have to actually, just eyeglass cam where you can just walk around and film.
Yeah.
I mean, GoPros, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but back in the day, I guess we didn't have that. But that is really useful because you miss a lot of footage otherwise. Like, I don't want to have to always have. I try to have like a GoPro or something running when I film at the same time. Yeah. Did you guys do that?
So it's not directly in your face, in their face.
Yeah.
When I went over there, first of all, I don't know dick about any of these wars. I didn't know Israel invaded Lebanon ever. I don't know. Even in Ukraine, I don't know the real, all the details over here. But I didn't want to come across as I watch a lot of like YouTube videos where people go to dangerous places just to be cool and hey, look at me. So I wanted to have some decorum and respect, which was at the expense of humor. Like, all right, I kind of want to make jokes here, but I don't think that guy with the missing finger is going to laugh at this. So I didn't want to come across as cocky. But do you see a lot of people like that are just there, war tourism?
I mean, I think we all have a streak of that, though. I think it would be super dishonest for us. Personally, we're definitely driven by just thinking that like the things that we've seen there are really fucked up, and it's like I'm just not cool with it. Like I've always, since I was really young, I think 9/11 really affected my mind because I'm from Jersey, and like I was right across the river, and like my high school lost so many people, and I saw the immediate aftermath. I saw like the burning rubble and like people crossing the bridge afterwards, and that really affected my mind. So I always thought that like, this is. Whatever this is, it's from people not really understanding what the fuck is happening in the world. And I don't understand what the fuck is happening in the world. So it made me really want to like try to understand what that was. Because, I'm born in New York, grew up in Jersey, and it really like, if you're an American, you say 9/11 affected you, usually you're full of shit, but it's like we were right there and people were like covered in dust.
An hour and a half, 2 hours at security? Yeah, it affected me. I gotta get on that fucking plane.
You said that everyone is a war tourist to some extent.
It's like Indiana Jones. It's nuts.
No, everyone but women. I will say this. The thing is,
them too a little bit, but less.
I think the best war correspondents, truly, and I don't say this to get pussy, even though I realize that it may lead to me getting some pussy, are women.
It's true.
The best war correspondents are women. It's because they don't think it's cool at all. They don't think it's like, they're not like going to a firefight like, I'm going to suck so much dick if I get this. They don't care. They're just like they actually care about the countries, and they do a lot of the work that's like very fucking boring.
And they take some of the most intense risks.
It's crazy fucking risks.
Some of the stuff that probably, if you were to like do the list the like 100 craziest things that have been done by like journalists vis-a-vis like risk-wise, probably like, what do you say, top 20 would be women? I don't know, like a lot of it would be like...
They'll go out, like there's like ladies who will go, so like in journalism, usually you have like someone called a fixer who is like, you had a fixer in Ukraine. I don't know if you...
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
there is a comic that had done so many shows for the troops and been to the front line so many times that we didn't have to go through channels.
Yeah.
We just fucking called a lady, and then the next thing you know, we're there.
I mean, it's essentially like, so a lot of like war reporters will rely on a fixer, which is like a local person who basically arranges everything for you, and it's kind of like hiring a tour guide, and you're taking like pictures from like a Disney tour to like send back to the United States, and it's very like on the rails and safe, and they're gonna make sure you don't like, you know, go too far beyond the wire or beyond the part where like you can get kidnapped or whatever. There were ladies in Iraq and shit that were just like, fuck fixers, and just going out. They would be like, so this is like during the ISIS war. I wish I could remember this lady's name, but she would just, wherever the US would bomb, she would just drive out there.
Azmat.
Yes, Azmat Khan. Shout out
Legendary
Azmat Khan.
Azmat Khan is probably the best journalist. You can't say who's the best journalist.
Write that down.
but
Ozma Khan. I want to look her up.
Yeah,
She's the
Azmat.
fucking dog, dude.
She's amazing. She's like, she's a candidate for best journalist
She would
of
cross.
the generation.
She's like, fuck where the front line is. I don't give a shit. The Americans drop bombs here, here, here. I'm gonna go document immediately what's happening. She's not waiting for anyone to actually do it for her. So she got her own data by visiting individual airstrike sites.
Adnan Gopal was her partner on that.
They work together.
Did you ever get yourself in a situation where you got some kind of footage or any kind of story that you go, oh shit, I could get in trouble for knowing this?
Yes, dude, I pissed off the Pentagon. Oh, Pat has snitched. You want to tell the tale?
Which one?
Well, I don't know.
The one that'll get you killed by the government.
Yeah.
No, the other one.
And the one
Yes,
that'll
you tell
get
it.
people to tune into your next episode.
Yeah. Which story?
So mine is interesting. So when I was in Afghanistan in like 2015 or something, like the American line was that like the war is over and the Afghans have taken over and the fighting has stopped. But I had seen, like you can see the casualty reports. So you can see that like every day Americans are getting fucked. But they're not dying because combat medicine had gotten so advanced. Like it's unreal. It's like science fiction, the shit they can do out there in the field. It's basically, it's to the point where like if you don't get cut in half on the battlefield, they can save your life, essentially.
Right.
So they can like just airlift you to Bagram, some air base where they have like better surgery than you have in the United States. But I still saw that, okay, there's still casualties every day. So Americans are fighting, but you don't have the deaths that you can report back, you know, in the news media. But there's still people that are going back without fucking legs, without arms. A lot of penis injuries, by the way. They make like
I was just going to ask about the dick shots. Do they reciprocate in kind and try to shoot our soldiers in the dick too?
Yeah, you have to think. I hope that the Russians started dick shooting before us, and we returned fire. But I don't know who came up with it first. I hope for the honor of America that the Soviets did it first, and we had to respond.
We invented the bomb. We have that shame on us. You know, we have Hiroshima, but I hope that they have dick shooting.
But anyway, I was on some assignment for like some bullshit story. It was very boring. But then there was like this infantry general, Townsend. Shout out General Townsend. He was the supreme commander of the war against ISIS in Iraq later. And I was on a helicopter with him for some bullshit thing. And I was like, hey man, I didn't say hey man because he terrified me. I said it very respectfully. I was like, hey, I understand Americans are still in combat. I want to go to where that's happening. And he was like, bet. Come on this helicopter, and he took me out to like the most remote combat outpost that was staffed by like complete lunatics, and then he was like, okay, here it is, and then he got back on the helicopter and left. I was just with these guys, and they were taking contact every day, so I got like just raw fucking combat footage of like American soldiers fighting, and when we released it, the Pentagon freaked out because it was completely against everything they had been saying about where the war was. And it was like really moving because it was like interviews with soldiers who were like, yeah, when I go home, people don't understand. Like they think we're watching movies all day. And so that like footage was like the thing that they could show that's like, no, it's still a fucking war out here. We're still getting fucked up.
Was that picked up or was that quashed?
No, it's huge. It's millions of views.
And when you say that they were pissed off, did you actually get any kind of discipline or a call even, or
Got yelled at.
by who?
The Pentagon. They were just pissed that he was going out.
Like someone, like a press person within the Pentagon. Or?
Yeah. They got really sour on us after, and then they were, I guess, yeah, it's not that dramatic. They were rude to me after that. But I'm a bit of a pussy, so for me, that was 9/11.
That's like the American version of like the Soviet commissar that shoots you in the back of the head.
Yeah. Well, it's like people are like, what's the last time you cried? And it's like, oh, it's a woman spoke sternly to me.
For me, all the time.
Doug was watching Home Alone 2 this winter.
That is a very brutal war movie.
I cry at Christmas movies. Even that, what was a horror, not horror movie, but it's a play on Silent Night. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So for
But so you still do it.
Yeah.
You bought a comedy club with all your war footage earnings.
War profiteers.
earnings. Nobody's in this for the money. It's like it's a brutal, like starving artist life.
I didn't get the money from that. I will say Google my first and last name, and that'll give you a clue where I got the money.
Tell him what you did.
I can't.
He can't.
You can't talk about it?
I'll talk.
If you guys have a Patreon, we can talk later. But
Yeah, there's a reason. But yeah.
I didn't know you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah, no. We'll explain. We'll explain later. But
What?
and so for me, a story that almost got me in trouble. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for me, a story that worried me about getting me in trouble is that for like several years, I've been following the military relationship between Israel and Russia, which is actually really deep. So a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of the spy satellites that Israel had were launched by Russia. Their drone program was greatly modernized by Russia, and a lot of the drones that they use to attack Ukraine are actually Israeli licensed drones that they still build. So it's a very like underhanded, sneaky kind of thing, because their propaganda, Russia tries to pretend that it's like struggling against the West, against Western imperialism, yada yada, but they're buying weapons from Israel, and they're very much in a
Yeah, I don't understand any of that shit. I don't.
yeah.
I know that Trump is supposed to be pro-Israel, but he's also, a Nazi. How does that work?
It seems to be working.
What wars are going on that we don't hear about? Isn't Myanmar all fucked up? And
Yes.
there's got to be wars that we just don't hear about.
I mean, it's the ones that are like
Myanmar.
Yeah, if you can't send people to them and they suppress their own internet, that's the ones that you don't hear about.
Sudan too.
Yeah.
It's a gigantic war going on in Sudan. What else are we spacing on? DRC still?
Yeah, I mean, all those, it's like, if a lot of it now, it's like, I kind of like have a feeling that I think like war correspondents are kind of outdated.
No,
because
I
like,
disagree.
I've watched
What's the biggest change in war that you've seen?
Ooh,
drones.
drones, yeah.
Drones is.
Yeah, drones is what I was saying. Yeah. Do you get nervous when since we've been to Ukraine, I hear a drone and I get nervous.
Yeah, you guys had
somebody's taking pictures.
you heard the little drones go by, or
Yeah, we were out watching them
yeah.
fly, and Doug was flying one for a while. But just knowing what they do, that they can blow things up and all that, it's just
terrifying.
They're no longer just it's just a real estate.
Yeah, it's a
agent.
kid in the park playing with his new toy drone.
yeah, no.
Basically.
Airplanes are what really scare me, because like for Syria, that was like the warning sign that something fucked up is about to happen. So it's like that's the thing that like to me I think is the most like deeply rooted thing that's changed in my mind, is that like I'll never be able to like this past trip I was in Syria in January, and the Turkish military was bombing a lot of Kurdish areas, and like you could just hear the planes fly over, and it's like you recognize the sound because they're American-made planes. It's F-16s, just flying same sound, and made in the USA, going to just bomb villages, and like that kind of thing really sticks with you. So for a couple of weeks after getting back, when I'd hear a plane, I'm not gonna like dive under a table because it's not my first rodeo, but it's like there's a split second of being like, oh right, okay, we're good. Like you have a split second of like
deciding if the plane noise is cool or not. And that really is something that still sometimes trips me up just a little bit. It's not ridiculous. I didn't go through anything like what people in
How
Vietnam
often do
go through.
you, when you go out, how long do you stay? When you come back, how long before you pick your next war? Do you take time off, or are you constantly moving?
I probably go to a war zone for about a month each year. That would be, on average recently, is about correct. I was in Ukraine for 4 months. I went there 6 weeks after the war started, and I stayed there for about 4 months with my friends. And then I went back in 2023, and then 2024 I didn't go to any wars. And then
It was because Kyiv. I don't know if you mostly stay in Kyiv and then go out to the front lines.
That's correct.
But Kyiv, even though they're getting blown up all the time, that we stayed at a Holiday Inn that got blown up just like a month after we came back, and but yeah, people just are walking around like nothing's going on. Air raid sirens. People have an app that says they can tell where it is exactly, and it's down the street. Let's hit the bar.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what's up, dude.
Very
Like,
chill.
Yeah, I was chill with them right the first air raid. I was pretty drunk, but I refused to get up for it, and then
You tried to. You fell over a
when
coffee
I tried
table.
to go, okay, we might get blown up. I jumped on the bed to go, and then I bounced off of the bed and into the nightstand. So, casualty of war, Purple Heart, maybe.
That's how it is.
Yeah, we can't get into VFW halls, even though we tell them our story and show them the video. So where are you going next? Have you decided? Oh wait, that's what I wanted. Now, when I ask about things like Myanmar that you don't hear about in the news, do you have to go to a war based on its popularity? Like, if they're not going to cover it, why would I go to Myanmar?
Some people do. Some people do that if they're very careerist. I think me and Jad both are kind of a little different. That like we really do like we like the adventure aspect of it. All that stuff's cool, but it's like the stuff that I see really does piss me off, and it's like the reason I do it is because I don't like that these things are happening in the world.
Yeah,
so
but he's saying like marketability.
No, I know, but I'm saying so. But so it's like I started covering Syria, and when nobody was covering Syria, I stuck with covering Syria, even though nobody was paying attention to it, and I stuck with it for years. But when it's back in the news, of course, like that's good for my career as well. But so there are people that will definitely just only show up when the war is in the news, and will be very careerist about it. But I do think that most people that are freelancers are pretty passionate, and will at least, taking into consideration the kind of money they can make, will at least continue to cover a war if people aren't paying attention to the best that they can.
I mean, I got an important question. When you are out in a war zone, are you only filming what's going on, or are you like the shitty YouTube guy that makes it all about him? And now I have to hear you drone on to get another 30 seconds of good footage.
So I've done. I mostly do written pieces. So I write for The Intercept, and I'm an editor at a magazine called Turning Point Magazine, not to be confused with Turning Point USA.
No,
not that. But so I do a lot of things. I've filmed for documentaries on the front lines.
But you don't really appear on camera that much.
But I don't go on camera a lot. I don't really like that. I prefer that for more like relaxed, fun things. Like that's why we're doing this show.
And now you guys are both drinkers.
Oh yeah.
Come on, dude! I'm gonna be destroyed for the show tonight.
How much does that play into where you'll travel to? If you go, oh fuck, they don't have booze in Pakistan. I'm not going to Pakistan.
Dude, fucking okay. So alcohol is illegal in Afghanistan, or completely illegal. So like, what they would do is they would allow you to bring in 2 vessels of alcohol of any size, if you're a foreigner. So dudes would just bring in like handles of whatever. And then it was like cigarettes in prison. Like the prices were astronomical. Mm-hmm. But then I worked with a dude at a news agency who was Mormon, the most popular guy in the country because he doesn't drink. So you just like, it's whoever can get to him first at the airport gets like a jug.
In Donbass, they said that alcohol amongst soldiers was more illegal than if they had cocaine or a hard drug, because they don't want their frontline soldiers getting fucking hammered.
They don't drink, and they also all right. During one of the highlights of my life is like during firefights in Afghanistan, just cranking cigs the whole time. It's the coolest feeling in the world.
I had quit for a year and a half, and I was buying packs as soon as
I
they
quit for a
landed.
decade. I quit for a decade before Ukraine.
Something about like cranking cigs in a war zone fucking rules.
But actually, the history of that is that it used to be called the soldier's habit because people smoked before from pipes, or they, would casually smoke a cigar or something. But the sort of cranking cigarettes thing comes from World War I.
Yeah.
Because what the U.S. Army would actually, or
Lucky strike, brother.
Lucky Strike.
Strikes, yeah. So they would provide cigarettes to the soldiers because cigarettes are unique because most intoxicants will bring you down, like alcohol brings you down. But if you're drunk at the front, you're fucked. Like you can't fuck around with that.
Yeah. You can crank cigs. It'll keep you like sitting watch longer if you're cranking cigs. Or dip.
Marijuana brings you down. Maybe it heightens other senses, but you don't want to be in that state either. But a cigarette focuses you and it calms you.
Have you ever read that book Blitzed about Pervitin in World War II? How that's Blitzkrieg. They were all fucking cranked out. Like it was, you had to do crank.
Now the Afghan army, complete opposite. Kids were high as hell the whole time. Kids were constantly. The thing is, because like in half the footage from Afghanistan,
is that where they do the cat or cot?
They don't have that in Afghanistan.
That's Yemen, right?
Yemen.
Yeah.
So I did work in Djibouti. Pause. It's a country.
We don't swing at low-hanging fruit Djibouti jokes.
But so cot is like a Horn of Africa thing. In Djibouti, I did
Notice
work.
that there was no like, oh, you're French. I thought you ran away from wars. See, we don't do shit like that.
100% classic.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm one of the ones that runs towards them. I think the French that are not pussies are very extremely not pussies.
Oh yeah, the
like-
resistance.
Yeah.
Resistance.
Oh, we can talk about the resistance with my connection to that.
He's got a tail. Yeah. The only one thing I was going to say: American soldiers cannot smoke cigarettes during firefights. I could as a correspondent, which is
Really?
very fun. They
don't-
cannot.
What is that bullshit?
They can't. Well, because it'll. I mean, you need.
I was in the front lines of the George Floyd riots with Antifa, and I was smoking pot right in the front line.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you guys the French resistance story.
Yeah.
Should I tell it?
Yeah. Pat's family was in the resistance.
No. That's
Tangentially.
was not in the resistance. We're helped hide weapons for the resistance.
Okay.
But so I think it was in
Equally
1993 or 1995, around then. I was about 10 years old, and we get a call from my great grandma, who still lives in France, right? And she tells my mom, she says, "Nellie, I just remembered something, and it's a big problem." She said, during the war, the Nazi soldiers came to our village and we fled, and I hid a bunch of grenades in a wood pile in the backyard, and we never went back. And she's like, 100% they're still there. So in the mid-90s, my family had to call this small municipality in France and be like, yeah, our great grandma stashed a bunch of grenades in your in the wood pile in one of these properties.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you went and cherry picked them as souvenirs.
No, but I did find a Panzerfaust once when I was a kid.
You found a Panzerfaust?
Yeah, a nice good old Panzerfaust. Yeah, just laying on a riverbed. It was crazy.
What's a Panzerfaust?
It's a German bazooka.
Okay.
Yeah. World War II. I found, once I was in my granddad's house and he had this little like shelf that had like a false bottom, and I was like tinkering with it one day. AK-47.
Wait, in Lebanon though.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any war souvenirs that you taken? An ear or something? A dead baby?
Well, but
You
that,
have anything
no.
cool?
Not like that, but my grandpa has crazy shit though from Japan. Holy fuck. Like
don't
a
think
samurai sword.
I brought back
Fuck yeah.
nicotine addiction. That's about it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, do I have any trophies? No. I really fucked up though because there was so much like ISIS crap when the ISIS got kicked out of Aleppo province. There were like torn flags and like there was the ISIS money that they printed. That I really want. ISIS had their own currency print. Like so that you can get. They had ISIS coins, and some of my friends that I didn't read Arabic back then, and like some of my friends collected a bunch of the Islamic State coins. It's nuts.
That rules. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trading Islamic State coins with your boys? I had. Oh, actually, the coolest thing I
Do you
got.
check them on eBay?
I feel like that. My eBay ISIS collection is starting to get a little problematic.
You're like a hair's breadth from like Nazi memorabilia.
I have a lot of anti-Nazi memorabilia. Yeah.
I do have. I have one cool thing. I do have a lighter somewhere in my house where you push a button and it flashes the face of Osama bin Laden.
Oh wait, I didn't finish the final part though, the French Resistance story though. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So there's an American flag in my parents' house. Because my dad's American, my mom's French, and it's made with like the stars are actually like Stars of David made with masking tape, and the stars and stripes are actually made out of parachute fabric from the drops of the French Resistance.
That's what's up.
So my great grandma made an American flag to greet the American army when they liberated France out of the parachutes.
Yeah, and your mother did more to greet the Americans. Hey,
Damn,
tear up this pussy.
Take
freedom.
that, my mom.
Doug, you animal! I was about to say the same thing.
There'll be no resistance.
There is no resistance here.
Damn. I'll have you know, my great grandmother provided pussy to the Allies.
Yeah, and that's at an hour. That's a closer. Is your mother's a whore jokes? Is that we started with shit?
My mother's an angel.
Dude,
Boofing liquor to get it into Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Boofing handles.
yeah.
I love the title of your podcast, and I can't wait to see where you go with it.
Yep.
If you have anything more, we're not on a tight schedule. Did you have anything else I don't want to?
If you guys
we
don't
may
have to go,
killed
just
people.
We could do.
There's a lot more, yeah.
Do you want to do a segment of gay or straight?
Yeah. Also, we have to make also a disclaimer.
Let me spit the cock out of my mouth for that.
A disclaimer. Though the title of our podcast is "War is Gay," we are not bumming one another.
You've never even considered it.
Never even considered it. Not one time.
Why would you even say?
It's just important. You know, it's important to get that out there. And to,
If you did get a gay fan base that just like to hear you talk about war,
we welcome it.
now maybe they want you to be a little gay. Maybe you're thinking about being gay.
No. It's like when God, when God said that it was okay to be gay, he was like, listen, it's okay to be gay. He's like, I'm not gay, but it's okay for you to be.
There's no gays in a foxhole, but if they put a glory hole in one, well.
All right, let's do. We do have a
subject. We have many subjects.
We do have a segment where we look at aspects of warfare and we decide if they're gay or straight.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Artillery. Now, I think this is an obvious answer, but I want to hear what the boys think. Mm-hmm. Artillery, gay or straight?
Straight.
Wow. Well, if you're saying like this would be more of a, is this a brave or cowardly? Because we were absolute cowards over there, but when we fired artillery, well, it goes 26 kilometers, that big fucking 152 caliber shell. Mm-hmm. So we had to ask, like when we finally got back to Kharkiv, we asked our handler, middleman there, I go, did we kill people? And he goes, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me until you were home.
It's not so much like bravery, cowardice. It's like, what's the sexual valence of this aspect of warfare?
Yeah, like how homoerotic.
Yeah, how
that's
homoerotic
blowing a load.
Yeah.
Blowing a load, it crosses both gay and straight. It's definitely cock. So I go gay, yeah. No, it creates a pussy. It creates a vagina at the end.
I was trying to land in some assholes, so I guess mine was gay.
I think it is a bit gay.
It is a bit gay.
It's just these men fussing about their tubes.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of heaving.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very, I mean, if everybody was shirtless and it was summer, it would have been a gay party.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing hotter than, can you imagine? And do you know what they call their position? They call it a pit. The mortar pit.
Ah, there you go.
That's kind of punk rock.
That is very punk rock.
But just a pit of just men fussing about their shells and their gaping.
Which is also very punk rock. A bunch of fucking mosh pit full of dudes.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of fucking broads jumping into that pit.
That is, war is just a big mosh pit with death.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like punks if they weren't pussies.
All right.
Okay.
Artillery gay.
Okay. Decided?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, it's gay.
Snipers.
Snipers, folks. These are all right. I don't want to prejudice you guys by giving my case for it. Snipers, gay or straight?
I would say
It depends on if they're jacking off.
it's kind of more of a
Obviously, they're
snipers
jacking
are
off.
like pedos or fucking
Obviously,
peeping
how else are you
toms.
gonna power the scope? You know?
Yeah, they're just sitting up in a tree, fucking peering at you. That's like,
That's why.
that's a sexual deviant.
That's why anti-tank crews.
Yeah.
You know, they have 3 members.
Oh, to stop them from bombing one.
Yeah, they have one guy is the spotter, and one guy fires it, and then the third guy prevents them from bumming each other.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's tactics. Okay. Moving on.
Snipers. Wait, what do you think? Gay or straight?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go gay.
Yeah.
I think gay, just because they're so their rifles crawling
It's like
around.
enough over your rifle, polishing your rifle.
Right.
Well, you guys would know better than us from a military angle. Is a sniper kind of like a kicker in football, where they're kind of really disrespected
Yes.
by the rest of the team, or not really?
No, I would think a sniper would be well respected.
They're kind of effete men.
They're kind of like, I can't say that I've experience of being shot at by snipers, but not necessarily of hanging
Good
out with them
ones,
that much.
not necessarily good ones.
Yeah, not necessarily good ones, exactly. But I think being a good sniper is like obviously good aim, but it's also like they just have to just sit in one place and wait and be very patient.
Yeah, actually, I think
Or maybe that's gay.
I was leaning towards gay snipers. I think straight.
Andy would be a great sniper because he likes to nature jack. That's his thing. He likes to just jerk off. He jerks off on like presidents' graves and things. And just,
Which presidents have you defiled? Which president's souls haunt you now?
William
because you
Howard
jerk
Taft, I started on.
off? Taft, good one, yeah, Taft.
But I couldn't finish there. I had to go down to a Mary Lincoln grave that was.
Mary
I thought it was Mary Abe's wife, and then later found out it was his granddaughter. So it was a little creepy.
Jesus.
She was still alive.
Yeah, I was jacking during an eclipse, and it was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I was down enjoying the eclipse, and then Betty and Gerald Ford were up on a hill looking down on me.
Yes.
So
I can't-
Smiling
those
down.
two. I would like to jack off on Reagan's and Trump's.
That would be fucking cool. Reagan.
That would
Especially
rule.
Trump's, but I gotta wait a bit.
Nature jacking is insane. Is cool, and I feel like I want to try it. It's just
It's a meditation. If you-
yeah, you get some bird shit on your shoulder. You better look up in that tree and make sure it's not a sniper nature jacking on you.
another nature. It's like a counter sniper, dude. It's just another.
Yeah.
So you think you're jacking it in nature alone? Little do you know.
It's not just you and nature. You got to watch out for a drone and
Yeah.
some smart ass, getting ready to blow you up. Oh, look at this poor American soldier jacking off unaware. You put a loud rock and roll soundtrack, and then I'm aware of it, and then hopefully I come before the bomb does.
Quickly, wait till they're cock ducking. No. Do we want to talk about reverse Hogwarts?
Reverse Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was in Syria in January, I went to the reverse ISIS Hogwarts.
You have to explain it better than
which
that.
is the.
I don't know what a Hogwarts is.
Okay, it's the school where they do de-radicalization for ISIS kids. So for the kids of parents who are fighters, and it is the strangest thing you've ever seen, because it's like it is the most post-racial group of people you'll ever see, is the children of ISIS fighters. It's like a fucking Bennington ad. Like, it's like people from every single background and culture just united by Islam and de-radicalization. I guess.
Oh shit! Hold on.
Wait,
Dude, we have to show him Abu Huraira.
Guys.
Guys. Okay, so
never
we're
mind.
running
Sorry,
out of
hang on.
time. We don't want to take up too much of your time. Can we show you guys our favorite white jihadists in the world?
Yes.
Dude, okay. Can you help me screen share with the boys? This guy rules. He is all right.
Hang on,
You're just gonna hit share here.
you're gonna show him.
And do you have a? Just do your entire screen.
Hey, he's handsome.
And thank you.
Convert it to Islam, dude. SubhanAllah.
Yeah, convert to Islam for our show.
Where's your thing?
It's right here.
Oh, but the point I was making is that that group of kids is the ultimate proof that diversity of opinion also matters, not just background.
All right, can you guys see our screen?
Yep.
All right, this guy rules. He is the most successful, one of the most successful suicide bombers in the entire Syrian civil war. And wait for it, boys, he's American.
Yep. The most successful American suicide bomber in history. And he has a lot to say about America.
What an upset. I watched this video. This video has 28,000 views.
Let's get
Half of them are just us.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yep.
My name is Omar Morena. From America.
Can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
22 years old. You think jihad is evil and terrorism? This has nothing to do. Terrorism, these are the true terrorists. Mujahid wouldn't even kill one child.
Not one, dude.
But these kuffar killed many children. Not just Bashar and his troops, America and their troops, the Yahud and their troops, China and all their troops, Russia, NATO, everyone have gone into lands and killed many Muslims, your brothers and your sisters. How can you, America, say that this is your land? This is not your land. This is God's land. God's the one who created it. You don't own it. Have you created the dirt? Did you create the trees? Did you create the water? When the rain falls into the ground, make trees and the fruits grow. Allah says in the Quran, we do it, not you, we. I lived in America. I know how it is. You have all the fancy amusement parks and the restaurants and the food and all this crap and the cars, and you think you're happy. You're not happy. You're never happy. I was never happy. I was always sad and depressed. Life sucked.
Obama.
I have one word to say to you, Kafir. We are coming for you, alhamdulillah. And I am glad to say this. Finally, I get behind cameras and say this, you kuffar, you Kafir, you big Dajjal. We are coming for you. Mark my words. Listen to my words, you big kuffar. You think, that you killed Osama bin Laden. You did nothing. You sent him to China, alhamdulillah. You sent him to paradise.
Yes, dude.
You think that you won? You have never won. You will never defeat Islam. You, Bush, any of your kuffar leaders.
Russia, China.
Allahu Akbar. We will come with our AKs. We will come with our bombs and our RPGs and our Pikas. We have small weapons, but we take you down, alhamdulillah. We have hearts of lions, and you are scared of Maut. We love Maut, alhamdulillah.
That sounded like me on a late show Friday when I've been drinking too much and it's a new bit that I haven't really put together.
Dude. That's incredible.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, I was kind of waiting to see a suicide bombing, and I feel like I was let down a bit. I wanted to see
there is a fuller video.
How many people did he kill?
52
government soldiers. Yep. An American takes gold in the Syrian civil war. Yeah. What an upset.
Okay, were we going to talk about Putin?
I was waiting for your screen to come back, but...
sorry, I don't know how to bring it back.
Just end it. Just end. Stop sharing.
Stop sharing?
Yeah.
Oh, stop sharing.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Hey, boys. Sorry, I'm so fucking glad we got to share that with you. That's my favorite.
Yeah, our favorite jihadist manifesto.
Did you guys catch, first of all, there's like things in this video, he's from Florida, and he's like, you think you're happy? You were never happy. You're always sad and depressed. Life sucks. With your amusement parks?
Yeah, your fancy restaurants.
Are you connecting the dots? This kid went to Disney and had such a bad time, he joined ISIS. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? He literally, I think it was he was like, if I don't have, it was the last thing he did before he left for Syria is he went to Disney and he was like not good shit. Enough.
Yeah. You know the Hamas Mickey Mouse, right?
I don't know of it.
Farfool? Okay, whatever.
Farfool.
Yeah, there's a Hamas Mickey Mouse. We don't have it queued up, so we don't talk about it.
What was that? Kafur, what was that word he kept saying?
Oh, infidel. You kafir leaders, you big dajjal. Yeah, he's talking to Obama, the big kafir.
All right.
If you ever have to shut down a heckler.
I could call someone in a situation where they wouldn't give me cigarettes because I didn't have an ID in a fucking corner mart. And I go, you're a kafir.
Oh, dude. Would be very effective. Yeah. Yes. Be like, come on, don't be a big kafir.
Don't be a big kafir or a big dajjal. You can also call him a dajjal.
Dajjal maybe is less insulting.
Yeah, dajjal means
a hypocrite, a false pretender. Yeah.
Dude, the fact that we have introduced kefir into your vocabulary means that we've really accomplished everything we wanted.
Our first step of bringing them to the true Islam.
We were going to ask at the beginning of the podcast if you would mind converting for the podcast, but
we were nervous. Yeah.
I'm not against it. Do I have to send a check?
No,
With a
it's
CZ?
actually very easy. You have to just repeat after me.
Yeah.
There is no God but God,
There's no God but God,
and His messenger Muhammad.
That's not.
and His messenger Muhammad.
Wait, Alex, can you
You're
come?
Muslim.
You're Muslim. Wait, Alex, can you come convert
Doug
Doug?
Stanhope, officially Muslim on our show.
Yeah,
Alex,
but I
Alex,
also
can you come
one time,
convert Doug?
I will convert Doug. Doug, I am a recent convert, so feel free to, follow me in gratitude. Let me find it. Hold on.
Oh man, it's like
Do I
a
get,
cop reading the rights off of
do I get one of those what do they call it? Commitment coins? Do I get
Oh my God!
a secret handshake?
You can. Alex's screen is terrifying right now.
I declare
I declare
that there is no deity
that there's no deity
worthy of worship except Allah.
worthy of worship except Allah.
And I declare that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah.
And I declare that the Muhammad is the messenger of Allah.
Congrats, you're a Muslim.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar!
Well, does this erase? Because one time I put on Facebook, I go, hey, it's national, tag all your friends on Facebook as the Prophet Muhammad. And that was years ago, and I still get people that fucking send me occasional death threats. Like, you found this thing from like 16 years ago, just now? Now you're sending the death threat?
It's a bit late.
Yeah, we do this thing where we draw Muhammad with sound.
But
So we're like, oh, there's a little head now, and then there's a eye.
But hopefully now,
You just
Doug, you have
describe
a
him.
Yeah, we describe him. That's
Yeah,
right.
you're calling a police report.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. Sketch
He's
artist.
like a little wizard with big bulgy eyes.
No, we
He
make
had
it tough.
wings.
We're like, oh, Muhammad, he was so handsome. And it's like, well, that's technically a descriptor.
Yeah. That's haram.
Yeah, he had nice dick pics in his phone.
Speaking
Yes.
of dicks, Putin?
Putin, I have to rock a piss so bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell them. Go
We're gonna
piss.
get to sushi in about 7 minutes.
Okay, so we'll wrap and I'll tell them about Putin, and then we'll wrap.
No,
up.
go ahead, take a piss.
All right, I'll take
Okay.
a bit.
Okay. So, you know how Putin's like bad?
Like what?
You know how Putin's
Bad?
like bad?
It'll reach.
Yeah.
You know?
What? Man?
There is one thing. There is one thing that I like about him a lot, and it's that he spends all day eating out ballerinas. You know, because he's like.
Did you pick this up on a case or
Well,
a
it's what-
story you were doing?
No, it's just, the leader of Russia. You know, it used to be Tsarist, like it was the Tsar, and then like the Tsar was just like eating out ballerinas. He was just like, just like all day eating out ballerinas. You know, because it's like. And then Rasputin came in and he was like, stole some of the ballerinas away, and then the Russian Revolution happened, and then, you know, Lenin was just eating out ballerinas all day, and then he got overthrown, and then Stalin, he was ballerina pussy in his face all day, and then like Putin finally came to power after the Soviet Union, and he developed a system where he has the ballerinas like, you know, like a Ferris wheel,
Yeah.
right? And he has them all like stand on the Ferris wheel like this, like each one is like a rung of the Ferris wheel, kind of. You understand? And then he spins it. He spins the wheel, and then he just shoves his face in there. He's like, you understand what I'm saying? Like as the wheel spins.
Is this source referenced?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an investigative journalist. This is serious work here. Yeah.
Damn it.
He's a journalist, so it must be true.
Yep. It must be. You heard it in the media, the mainstream media.
The mainstream media.
This is war is gay is the mainstream media now.
That's as mainstream as it can be. Yeah.
Yeah, death to CNN.
That's the big kafir. CNN, the big Dajjal. I'm so glad we got to introduce you to Abu Huraira. You know?
That's like our favorite
yeah.
guy.
I'm gonna yeah. You know what? When we're done, send some links to stuff you guys have done that we can put in the show notes. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And fun stuff. And I appreciate you guys doing this with us and having us on your first podcast.
Are you kidding me, dude?
We are
Yeah,
Thanks for explaining what freedom is to us.
Thanks for exposing us to nature jacking, dude.
Nature jacking.
I'm never going to jack inside again.
Make sure there's no other hikers on the trail.
We were only war correspondents. We were only on the front lines for a day, but at least we're not like you. We can't. We might have killed people. Yeah. You never even pulled the lever.
I mean, the pen is mightier than the sword if you can get in close and jam it in their eyeball.
Yes.
We are pussies, though. For real. We're huge.
We are too.
Yeah.
From two betas to two cowards. Let us be bottoms and prosper.
Dude, thank you guys so much, man.
Cheers.
Have a great night. Enjoy your shows. We got 2 here in Cincinnati. We got to go eat sushi and then start our drink.
Hell yeah. Crush them, Doug. Thank you, brother.
Right.
You think jihad is evil?
Is this source reference?
Two heterosexual men who never even consider liking one another. This has nothing to do with terrorists. These are the terrorists. For jihad wouldn't have even killed one child. But these kufa killed many children.
This is war is gay is the mainstream media now.